Alright, moving right along, we're going to be going over now to the right hand side where it says Tool Paths. We click on the tab at the top to open it up, and there's a little auto hide, little button right beside the tab itself. Click on that to open it, or I should say to lock the panel open, or else it'll just auto hide on you, and it's kind of a pain. It's easier to keep it open all the time. Next thing, show you going back to the 2D view control where it says zoom to fit, third window open. Click on that and it'll center your window. You can work with it there. Alright, we're going to be working with under toolpath operations, and we're looking at the very first one. It's called profile toolpath. Later on, we're going to be looking at it in a VCarve engraving toolpath. We'll get to that later. Profile toolpath, click on it to open it. A couple of values we do want to change. Start value we leave as 0 should be. Cut depth might be set to 1 inch, and if it is, you need to delete that. We don't want to cut to 1 inch because you could potentially be cutting all the way through the tabs that are holding the material in place. We don't want to do that. And if your material was over top of a clamp, run a risk as well of running the router bit right through the material and then into a clamp as well. So the cut depth we want to set to 0.77. Now just to illustrate that, going back to set job dimensions and origins on the left. If I open up that panel, we can see the thickness. We've got 0.75 and our cut depth is 0.77. So we want to cut a little bit more than the thickness of our material, 0.02 of an inch thicker, and that's as far as we want to go, just a little bit more. Click OK if you have that open, and that'll bring you back to your regular panel on the left. And now a couple of things here. Tool end mill is really what we want to make sure we've got set as a 0.25 inch tool end mill, and then down that panel as well, machine vectors should be set to outside right, not inside out. Last pass don't worry about. Tabs panel, definitely something you're going to want to focus on. You want to click to add tabs, so you check mark the little box beside add tabs to toolpath, and then click on edit tabs. Aha! So you'll have if you've deselected your vector line, you'll have this error message come up, no vector selected. So press OK, no problem. Make sure you select one, and then you can click to edit it. There's no tabs on it currently. Your constant number is probably going to be set to 1. I say use constant number. Select the constant number by pressing the little dot and then set to about 4. Click add tabs. It'll add your tabs, and the only thing you want to make sure is you don't have a tab on a corner. It's a little bit harder to clean the tab off when we're cleaning them up if your tab is right on the very corner. So you can slide them by clicking and just dragging them over. And if you accidentally click off the line, it'll erase the tab. Just click back on the line, and it'll add the tab back in place. Okay, that's it. So once you've added your tabs, press close, and that's pretty much it for this panel. Last thing though, at the bottom, we need to name it. So put your last name there, and you need to press calculate. Now it's going to give you a warning. Current tool cutting depth will exceed the material thickness. Material thickness is 0.75. We looked at that over on the left under our set job dimensions. And the maximum tool depth that we're cutting is 0.77, and we saw that on the right at the very top. That's how deep we want it to cut. We press OK if we want to continue with the tool path calculation. However, the resulting tool path will cut through the base of the material, possibly damaging the machine bed, right? And then we already talked about that too. So if you do not have a sacrificial layer under the material being cut, you should cancel this operation. We do. We've got a little space, a little air space actually. So we'll cut right through the air. We just don't cut too deep because we might run into a clamp underneath there. Alright, so anyhow, we can press OK because we've already thought of all those things. Now, this is our preview window. Really quickly, the speed, I always just run it full speed because, it takes too long if you slow it down, and you can just see, it'll actually show you the router and how many passes it takes to cut all the way through the material. You should be able to rotate your material around now. You should be able to see the tabs in place. There should be 4 of them. And that's pretty much all we get from this window. It's kind of neat to see it though, and you can actually take your material and rotate it 360 degrees. Here's the back of the material. Right? Flip around and have some fun. Alright, so that's all I'm going to show you for this tutorial, and talk to you in the next one.